You are now live.
Hooray!
All
We
right.
are live!
We are live in San Jose, California. So we're going to do some technical checks. Morgan, do you hear us? Do you see us? Okay. All right then. So we are so excited to have our first Instagram Live. This is amazing,
Yes, we
amazing,
are.
amazing.
Yes.
I'm Terry Marcroft.
I'm John Schwartz.
I'm Lisa Marcouillet.
Yay! And so this right here is the board of Unplanned Good right now. So these guys have been contributing and stepping up and working with me for the last 6-7 years, I want to say. It's been a while that you guys have been doing that.
Yes.
And so we're excited today as we allow people to come in. It's our first ever Instagram Live. And what prompted us to do it is just sharing some interesting news, right?
Absolutely. Right. We are very excited about some upcoming events.
Yes.
Some good updates and info to share.
So do you guys have kids on Instagram Live? I mean, on Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
My son does use it, yeah.
And now they're going to be shocked that we're actually getting with the program,
They'll
right?
make fun of us now. Yeah.
I know. My daughter's probably like, Mom, I don't think you get it.
And honestly, I don't. Fully.
Okay. Truth be told, yeah.
Truth be told.
Yeah, whatever.
Mostly, but not all the way.
But sometimes it's really fun to have her be surprised in a positive way. Like, wait, we could actually pull this off.
And we will.
Nice.
Okay, we could actually pull this off. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, so how many people do we have on here? Do we know?
See a few waves
Two
coming
there,
in, yeah.
A couple of waves there.
All right.
Couple of waves.
Very good.
Is anybody like saying anything specific? Again, they can send us a chat. I think they can send us a note.
Okay.
Comments.
A comment.
If you put your comments in there, we'll see them.
We'll see them.
Right now, we just see a couple of waves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because we want to be interactive as we go through. The whole thing's going to be maybe 35 minutes. And so if people have comments to send us, do that. Don't hesitate at all. And then we'll be able to address them and include them.
Yeah, we'll try to answer any questions if people raise them. That'd be great.
Okay, that's super. So the first obvious question that people are saying is, what's new? Why are you doing this Instagram Live? And dun, dun, dun. Okay, we're announcing our fundraiser. We've been in business for 10 years with our nonprofit. We've never done a fundraiser before. And so...
Yeah, why don't we start with a little more of that?
Why don't we start with that?
Why are we here and all?
Yeah, you mean like
Unplanned Good as a whole, just in case anyone's joining us who doesn't know.
Yeah, that's a really good
mention
point.
30 seconds about what that
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know what Unplanned Good is all about, I started this organization 11 years ago in 2010, which is why our Insta handle is Unplanned Good 2010. And what we started out as was promoting the idea and just reminding people that adoption was an option for women facing unplanned pregnancy. Because I adopted Sydney when she was born, but after that, a lot of my friends over the next decade started facing infertility, couldn't adopt because there just weren't any babies available really to do that and create families, and so it became clear that women were choosing between abortion and single parenting a lot, and very few were actually thinking about adoption as an answer.
You did a lot of eye-opening research back then about that really kind of drove that home, right?
Yeah.
Just how small the percentages were.
Exactly, yeah. That it was like less than 1% of women facing unplanned pregnancy who choose adoption. And a lot of that, when we dug into it, we found out it just never got on their radar because nobody suggested it. Nobody had a conversation about it. So that's what we wanted to change, was just let's have the conversation. It's not perfect for everybody, but it is a good option for a lot of people. So let's have that conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Then on the flip side, there were a whole lot of parents who weren't able to have children or wanted to start a family, and if we could marry those two groups up, all the better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So creating families, and I personally think it's a really beautiful thing when you build a family through adoption, and yeah.
Great.
So, I mean, at least that's the life that I've been living with my daughter. Yeah.
And chances are many of the folks out there have been touched in some fashion by adoption in some way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows somebody. Yeah.
Exactly. So we've been spreading that message for the last decade or so. And now we're stepping up our game.
We are.
Ratchet up a notch.
Yeah, we are. So I wrote a business book last year, and that was kind of a different and new experience. And it's a
#1 seller on Amazon. Check it out. The Path to Revenue. Shameless plug for you.
Shameless plug. I love my shameless friends. Yeah, why not? So now we're going to do a book on adoption. And so we have recruited a book team of about 24 people who are our friends and family who are willing to help write and edit and comment and all that. And so we're going to be writing a book. It's hopefully it's going to be out this year. It could be close to Christmas if it makes it out this year. But the idea is to step up our word spreading efforts so that we talk more about, we expand our audience and we let more people know through the book about adoption being an option.
Right. A positive option that isn't just the taboo around the unplanned pregnancy.
Yes,
Right, yeah.
exactly.
It's a very positive experience for most, and we want to make sure that everybody is aware of that.
Yes, exactly.
And one of the things that maybe we should highlight too is that our audience is potentially that young woman or teen who's facing the situation, but it also may be the family member, the uncle, the parents, a friend, a close, colleague, whatever the case might be, who that person might confide in for advice, help. And if we can have this on everyone's radar, then it can be an information sharing. It can be an idea that's explored and potentially chosen.
And a win-win situation.
win-win-win.
A win for everybody involved.
Right.
Yeah. And more educators too. If we can get this out to teachers and administrators in schools so that they are aware of this as an option, then they can help to just spread the word, right? And give that information out when needed, but to make it part of their programs, right? Because
exactly.
they don't always hear about that in those programs.
Right.
I think that was one of the most surprising things to me when I first met you was how it's just not on the minds of most people. And those of us who have grown up or been involved in a situation, it is on the forefront of our minds. And so it was foreign to me that people have no idea that this is an option. They don't think about it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So, and actually this got brought up too, the last podcast I did, the host said, the audience is only women facing unplanned pregnancy, right? It's like, no, there's so many more. Like basically everybody in society needs to have it on their mind because it could be that your niece is facing unplanned pregnancy or your neighbor or your cousin or your friend's daughter.
Right.
Anybody in your life.
Anybody.
And if we're ready to talk about adoption, then that's half the battle.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Terrific.
Right. And so so that's the book. So that's what the book is going to be about. It's going to be a little bit more about the pros, how beautiful adoption can be and how open adoption works today. And so the book, hopefully coming out towards the end of this year, but we're doing the fundraiser specifically because my experience last year showed me how expensive it was to actually get a book done and how much more work there is to do after the writing is finished.
Right.
Right.
So, but the expenses are like, cover, illustration, and diagrams inside, and layout, and publication, and Amazon fees, and, it just sort of goes on and on and on.
Sure.
About all of that.
Yeah.
So that's why having a fundraiser, we're hoping to get to about $8,000 altogether.
Yeah.
And the donations that we get towards the cost of publishing the book would be input through our website, because now it's unplannedgood.org/fundraiser is our new fundraising page.
Say that again.
unplannedgood.org/fundraiser.
Yes.
So, and on that page we have like prizes depending on what level you're donating at.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we should show them. So we're looking for help to raise funds to make this happen this year.
Exactly.
So please, if you can, spread the word, share this with folks, and get the word out. We'd love to get donations to make this a reality as soon as possible.
And know that your donation is going to go straight towards the book. None of us are taking salaries. We never have. So that's not part of the deal. It's all the money that we raise ever goes straight to our work and to our social media and in this case to publication of the book.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I feel like we really want to get to know you too.
Okay.
Because So
It's a can of worms. I don't know.
It's a can of worms. Yeah, be careful who you hand the mic to, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
So it'd be great if you could just share with our audience a little bit about your stories and what attracted you to Unplanned Good, why you hang in here still with me after all these years. And so just a little bit about what adoption means to you, maybe. So who wants to go first?
You can go
I guess I'm
first.
going.
I
All
guess
right,
John
sure,
does.
that's fine.
Yeah, John does.
Well, again, I'm John. I was adopted as a baby, and it was always something that was very special in my family. It was something that I knew my entire life, and it was not something we published to the world like this, but it was always something that we knew and thought was kind of a neat scenario. And I always felt very lucky and blessed to be here and to be where I was, and I always felt very grateful to my birth parents who made that choice, and I know it was a very difficult choice at the time and thereafter. And about 8, almost 9 years ago, I found my birth family and doing a lot of searching and connected with them, and we've had a wonderful relationship. I have a whole other wonderful branch of my family that I never had, and that just sparked such a desire in me to share this story and to get involved somehow with adoption. And just when I came across a mutual friend introduced us, and I just had the same vision match as you. This is a great thing. We should be promoting and putting the word out, and just like we keep saying, putting it on people's radar. It's something that is not perfect. It can be bumpy, and it's again, like you said, Terry, it's not for everybody. But all in all, it can be really a win-win-win for everyone involved sometimes, and it can be a beautiful situation. And I feel very lucky. So that's how I got into this.
Yeah.
And I've been delighted to be a part of this organization and help you as much as we can and getting the word out.
And your adoption was closed, right?
Yes,
So
it
that's
was
why you
closed.
had to do all that searching.
Correct. So, yes, many decades ago, everything was closed in most of the states, including the state where I was born, New York. And getting anything open, there was nothing very much that any of us knew about each other all for years. And so, luckily, with this investigation into this kind of thing becoming more popular over the recent years, the internet and more access to information, we were able to just put the pieces together over many years. And so,
And you found siblings.
yeah,
Didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. My parents ended up getting married, and they had 3 other children, and we've got a wonderful relationship with everybody. We're all part of the family, and it's just been the most delightful blessing. I can't even explain it.
That's
it's just been a wonderful part of my life. Yeah. So I feel very grateful. So that's my how I got into this, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah. So I have a little different story. I am a birth mother. I was part of that discussion of the unplanned pregnancy at 17. Just graduated high school, went on a trip and found out that I was pregnant while I was on this vacation of a lifetime. And then came back and found out where I was in that process and everything. And for me, it was a personal choice that I didn't want any other choice than to continue the pregnancy. And then my doctor actually recommended that I consider it, along with my mom, the whole idea of adoption. And because I was still, I was going to get ready for college, and I had a whole lot of plans in place. I wasn't sure what else I could throw in the mix, right? And I definitely did not feel ready to be a full-time mom at the time, at 17. The father was still in the picture at the time, and we went to an agency in the area here, and we looked through numerous profiles and binders and everything, pictures and letters and all kinds of things about families. And like you said, there was a lot of waiting families, right?
Yeah.
A lot. And so that was hard. I'm sure nowadays it might be a little easier with computers to narrow that down, but it was literally page by page and stuff. So we actually met with 2 different families at the time, and I felt an immediate connection with one. And so that's who we ended up placing our daughter
Wow.
with at
Funny
the
how
time.
that happens, right? You feel
Yeah.
this pull.
This
like,
was
we're
it.
connected.
This
we're
is
on the same
connection,
page.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
And this family had one older son who was actually part of a closed adoption based on the birth mother's request. But
okay.
the family that I was talking with was hoping for an open adoption with me, and I said, I'm open to it, and we'll just see how it goes. Started with letters and pictures, then it came to birthday time and they wanted to meet. So we had, kind of annual meetings for several years. A few years we didn't meet because of whatever family situation, right? But, and eventually they had a miracle baby by chance.
Oh,
yeah. So they had a third child. And so, but it was really a wonderful experience in the sense that, they were very good about communicating. So I got lots of pictures and letters to keep up with what was happening in her life and then be a part of it a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
And then after she turned 18 and went off to college and so forth, I got some communication, but some of it kind of dropped off, and we were trying to see if maybe she wanted to communicate directly. And eventually she did. And so we have a great relationship. They actually, she and her boyfriend just came to visit a couple weeks ago. And had dinner at our house. We've gone to Disneyland together. She's come to family gatherings with my whole brood. And so, while her birth father and I did not stay together, I occasionally do get to keep in contact, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, but she and I have a good relationship, and so she kind of has two families also that she just kind of brings together with everything, and it's amazing. I wish she were closer, but at least she's only 3.5 hours away, so it's not too bad. But and my kids and my family are just so accepting of everything. They love the fact that we can all get together, and just be extended family to each other. So it's really turned into a good story to tell.
Isn't it funny though that people say, isn't that confusing, or isn't the adoptive family kind of hesitant about the birth family? And it seems like often the experience is that means more love to go around, and everybody's really clear on what's going on.
I think it just depends on the family. Like this particular family was actually, I think, more excited for us to have more communication than I was prepared for. At first I was just like, okay, pictures and letters, this is awesome, right? And I started my little scrapbook and everything, and then they're like, oh, let's meet. And I'm like, meet? Kind of like that scary first date thing. Right?
It is
like,
scary first date thing. Yeah.
Sure, we can meet. I mean, she was only going to be one, so it's not like, there wasn't anything to start discussing about confusion, right?
Yeah.
But, so I think eventually when I was meeting with her and the family, and then I had my own kids eventually too. We kept it separate for a little bit, then they kind of all got together and whatnot. So some of that was probably a little bit, but they were also very open about the adoption. Like their family and friends and everybody knew, she knew.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Because I know there are some people who don't know until they're adults that they've been adopted, right?
Yeah.
I mean, later in
they
life,
were
like they just were adopted at all,
yeah.
right? So this particular situation, it was very open, right? So
and open today means no secrets. Basically, that's what it means to me. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, I think no secrets and accepting whatever the situation is, right? And it changes, right? I mean, we didn't always get together. We didn't always have a strict, regimen for communicating, right? But ebb and flow, right? Yeah. As everyone grows up, right? Including me, it evolves. And now, like I said, we text, we send pictures, we get together, we all kinds of things. So.
I think the openness nowadays is nice because it can mean whatever you want it to mean, right?
Good
in your
point.
situation.
Yeah.
And we have some friends who adopted a baby boy, and I love they were testing the waters and finding that out, figuring that out as they got started as to how much contact should they have, how much was everybody comfortable with, and it ebbed and flowed, and then it opened up a lot, and then it tapered off a bit, and then opened up again, and to me, the openness of things nowadays is so much nicer than this dark, negative secret that somebody has to carry around and feel bad about,
Uh-huh.
and not know, anything about what happened to that poor child, and that kind of stuff. It's just the fact that we can have contact with people, and if you're open to that, it's wonderful. If you want letters, pictures, you want to have family gatherings, anything in between, like it's up to you, and it's terrific. And the stigma is melting away, and I think that is terrific.
Thankfully, yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So in our case, it was. I think that what we're showing is that open adoption, it evolves, and it's based on what people are comfortable with. In our case, we left the hospital with Sydney the day after she was born, and we had very little contact with our birth mother for the next 4 to 5 years. And she just made me promise to send photos, because this was before we had a digital camera in our hands. Send photos every other month. So that's what I did. And then she came to visit when Sydney was in kindergarten. And she spent those whole first 4 years at university. So she was working her tail off, getting her degree and all that. And then once Sydney hit kindergarten, she came to visit because she was joining the military. And so she just said, it's a big milestone in my life, and I want to come visit you guys, see how things are going. And from that point on, we've had greater and greater and greater amounts of openness between our two families.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's terrific. I love that story.
Yeah. So these are the kinds of stories that we're going to be capturing in the book too.
Okay.
Because the book's going to have so we consider the adoption triad to be the birth mother or birth parents, the adoptive parents, and the adoptee. And so we're going to have a chapter on each of those perspectives and go through some anecdotes and include sort of what we've seen over the last decade about the personal situation.
And hopefully that'll be eye-opening for folks to see from all those three sides.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be neat.
I think a lot of people don't understand open adoption.
Or don't understand how anyone on that triangle might really feel. You sort of, my assumption is that there's an assumed stereotype of what that adoptee feels or what the birth mother feels, after, and it may or may not be true. It may be completely different. So I hope it'll be eye-opening for folks to
hope so
to have that insight.
Yeah, eye-opening and hopefully reassuring about what a good thing this can be.
Yeah, and dispelling those taboo feelings about adoption, right? Like, it was always so associated with that unplanned pregnancy, right? And it's really like, it's more than that, right? It's more than just, the pregnancy wasn't planned, so now we can move on. Like, we've already addressed that, right? And I think getting past that point in the book for anybody to hear the different sides of it, of how the stories evolve, right? Really kind of takes it away from just that stigma, right? That we have around that.
So much more than that. Yeah. Are we getting any comments from people? I can't see that far, so.
Why are we excited about the book, which we started talking about? Yeah, so let's maybe, is there more we want to say about who's going to benefit from this? We kind of touched on that, I think.
Yeah, that really anybody's in a position to start the adoption conversation with your niece, your nephew, if it's his girlfriend, your neighbor, your student, just anybody. That's why everybody in society I'd love to see more people just have this on their mind, have adoption on their mind, and be ready to talk about it.
Yeah. And I think for those that are the personal experiencers, the birth parents, right? Being okay to look at it as an option, being okay with having a story and telling it, right? And being okay with the fact that whatever the openness is, right? Maybe they choose not to, maybe the family chooses not to, whatever it is, but just that they can look on it as that, hey, this feels like someone's telling my story finally, right? I don't have to keep it just to myself or just to my family, right? Like, I can actually see that other people can understand the point of view, right? Beyond just the fantastic things that happen when a family is created, a new family, right? With an adopted child. And then for that adoptee, right, they go through a lot of ebb and flow themselves, right? When I've talked to my daughter about her life and growing up, and she's had a fantastic life altogether, right? But it did ebb and flow with her emotional growth, with her stability, with everything, right? And some adoptees go through a lot of the same things, right? And it has nothing to do with what their family situation is in their adopted family, or maybe what their birth family is like, right? It's just, there's a lot that can go on there.
Yeah,
right?
It's life.
Sure.
It's life.
Yeah.
And there's some TV shows now that are also addressing adoption and their storylines and so forth. And then I know, so Wendy's did a whole adoption promotion, right? Where they were raising funds for, it was more focused on the foster system, but again, it's creating a family, right? So even adoption in that realm, right, is a great thing to have the ability to do.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of different aspects of the book that will really create a lot of conversation positively.
Yeah.
Conversation's good.
Yeah, emotional journey is a good point. I'm glad you bring that up. I mean, not to
Yeah.
go back to the stories or anything, but in terms of, from my own experience, growing up, I was very comfortable with the situation, but didn't really have any desire to go looking or hunting or find out anymore. I just figured it was what it was, and it was meant to be, and that was fine, and I was happy and lucky. And then as I got older, things started to spark, and when I was about to have a son, things started to really spark about not knowing and just wanting more, not just physical medical information, but where did I come from information.
Yes.
And that fire just started to grow one day that had never really been there. And so that ebb and flow is definitely true. And then going through the searching, it was years worth, and it would ebb and flow again. I would get tired, I would get burned out, I'd get discouraged, I'd find a dead end after a dead end, and then I'd put it down for a while, and then it would rekindle, and I would pick it back up again. And it's very interesting. Life gets in the way, like you said too, and so things took a long time. But in terms of emotional journey, the piece of the openness, I can't talk enough about. Because again, it's not perfect for everybody, and the situations vary, and some of them are nice and rosy, and some of them are not.
Some of them are not.
And you never know, but I just had this internal peace afterwards that I never had before.
Yeah.
Right.
And I can't describe it to anyone who doesn't know, who hasn't been in that situation.
Maybe the way that people can think about it, every child wants to know where they came from, whether they're adopted or not. They have questions about where they came from, right? And people who were in closed adoptions didn't have the opportunity to answer those. And so that's one of the things I think is beautiful about open adoption, because it's such a natural question.
Right.
Like you hear kids all the time say, "Mommy, tell me the story about the night I was born," or, "Tell me about when this happened when I was 2," and you're repeating the same story for the 10th time today. So anyway, so we have a birth mother, an adoptee, and an adoptive mom all on the board. So together, I think we do. We fill out all the perspectives
Fill out the
very
triangle.
well.
We do fill out the triangle.
Yeah. Okay, so if we consider that the book might be done towards the end of the year, we're lining up the funds to do this, and so you want to share what the prizes are when people are able to donate towards this?
Sure.
Our theme is kind of along the lines of growing, planting and growing and harvesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And spring.
Yeah,
springtime.
Springtime.
And Mother's Day is this weekend.
That's right. So that's why we're kicking it off before Mother's Day.
Why we're here today.
Mother's Day. Right. So our first gift level is our seed planter level, and that is at $100 donation gift, and you get these fabulous sunglasses.
Wait, mine are over here.
Where are yours, John? Yeah, there we are.
Ta-da!
See, we're so vogue.
As well as the bookmark and a copy of our book.
Right.
Yep.
And then we have the next gift level.
Oh, the nurturer is $250. Includes the fabulous sunglasses. The bookmark,
and
plus this wonderful Yeti high quality water bottle. Nice size, great color, Unplanned Good logo on it.
Right.
Perfect handle. Take it anywhere.
I've been carrying mine around lately, and two reasons these are super cool. One is that they don't drip. Right, which my hydrophone always did. And the second one, you can take this off and put ice into it without trying to shove it through the little...
And it holds it cold.
And it holds it cold, yeah. So I love my new Yeti water bottle.
So for anyone who can meet us at the $250 nurturer level, we'll get that also.
Right. And then when you step up from there, if you make a $500 donation, then we call you a harvester, because you're actually, reaping the harvest with us. And you'll get your name in the book. We're going to have a dedication page to the people who've helped to fund the publishing of the book. And you harvesters who donate $500 will get your name in the book, as well as the Yeti water bottle, the bookmark, and the sunglasses.
Excellent.
How does that sound?
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Sounds like
fantastic.
I'm gonna sign up.
Yeah. Oh, and don't stop at 500. If you are feeling absolutely generous,
You must.
and if you must go beyond that, yes, we will still make sure that you are a harvester level with 500 and above.
Can you tell that Lisa's the treasurer of the organization? Yeah, she is.
Got to keep that revenue stream
Yeah.
Right.
to get this book going.
Yeah, so we think it'll cost us about $8,000, and so Westgate Church has made a donation to it as well. So we're happy to kick off with that too.
And Terry has put good thought to those numbers based on, like you said, the experience from last year.
We've
Plus,
lived it.
we've crunched the numbers. You're planning to be as conservative as possible with the funds. We've talked
Always.
about that, the three of us.
Yeah.
And so the money you give will be well used in this effort.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. All of our funding goes
Just
towards
not
spreading
going.
the word. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And in the last year or so, we've beefed up our social media presence with Twitter and Insta and Facebook.
What's our handles for the Twitter feed?
Unplanned Good. And then, you're all here on Insta, so you know
Yeah.
it's Unplanned_Good 2010. And then we have a Facebook group as well. And if you are not getting the monthly newsletter, please do sign up on our homepage to get the monthly newsletter. We won't abuse your email at all.
No,
We don't sell it to anyone else
No,
we
either.
do not sell it to
We
anybody.
don't.
Oh, our Twitter handle is unplanned_good.
Oh, sorry, I
Yes.
missed the underscore.
Okay, good, thank you.
All right.
Unplanned_Good on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Unplanned_Good 2010 on Instagram and Facebook. It's just Unplanned Good. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, what else do we need to, what closing thoughts do we need to share? We're half an hour into this.
Yeah.
What questions do we have, Lisa? Are there any questions that are coming up from our viewers?
I think we touched on this one about who benefit from the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the last one that's up.
Yeah.
That's the last one. Okay. So the one question that I'm asked a lot is, why are you working on this? Like, what's the big picture reason that motivates us? And for me, it's a lot because it's only less than 1% of the women facing unplanned pregnancy that choose adoption. And we're not trying to force a choice. We're trying to get just people to think about it. Just consider it. Just so that it's one of the three options
Right.
on the table instead of being left off the table.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
The
it.
more options, the better whenever there's a crisis, right?
Mhm.
I think it's definitely to the benefit of anybody, right? This isn't just only if you're one of the triangle will you benefit from this, right?
Right.
Anybody can benefit from this because it is part of a lot of people's extended families, right? Including friend families, right? A lot of people rely on their village, and villages are made up of all kinds of families, and it does take a village.
Yes.
And this will definitely benefit that
Yeah.
from all aspects.
Okay.
And again, I think just anyone in any situation having this knowledge in their mind when that situation arises, when that confidant asks for help, when that friend is in this situation or is in trouble. And I am the guy here, I know the least about an unplanned pregnancy, but I just want to be prepared if someone in my life has this situation, and I can offer any thoughts,
Right.
give any guide, help them take a breath and take a pause and think about what they really want.
Right.
Anyway.
And it's another avenue of information, right? Having a book.
Mm-hmm.
We have a website, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter.
Newsletter,
We have the newsletter. Maybe someday we will also go on TikTok. But whatever it is, right? It's all electronic right now.
I'm not hip enough for that.
And this gives people something that's tangible
Yes.
to add to their information
Uh-huh.
library.
Yes.
And if we can drive up the sales, then that will increase awareness too on those channels. That would be nice.
Yes.
Exactly.
So.
All right then.
Terrific, yeah.
Are we ready to just leave off at that? Sounds great.
I suppose so. Is there any other thoughts or questions we need to answer? I mean,
We want to thank everybody who joined us live today.
Yes.
For sure. Make sure that you, if you are able to donate and want to donate, please go to our website, unplannedgood.org/fundraiser.
Perfect.
There are the 3 levels that will get you gifts in return. But again, we will take any donation. Any donation is welcome for any way that you'd like to help support.
But don't you want to get a cool Yeti
But I'm
bottle?
sure everybody wants a cool Yeti bottle. Everybody definitely needs cool sunglasses. Because that is the way it
Summer
goes.
is coming.
Summer is coming.
Right. And then
So-
if you get your name in the book, then you just go down in history.
And
Yes.
then
So,
it's
as a
in
mover
there.
and shaker.
That to me is a
Absolutely.
nice motivation to have your name on the product
in the
itself.
book.
Name in
Yeah,
the book.
absolutely.
Yeah.
right.
To be part of it. That's
Okay, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I think that's great.
All right then.
So,
Okay.
well,
Okay,
thank you again,
so
everyone,
much for
for
joining
watching.
us. Yeah, okay, and have a great weekend. Have a great Mother's Day weekend celebrating your mom and all that she's done for you. Thank you for the love and support, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Okay.